welcome to the latest episode of Twit. There's a little fact I've realised in the last week that I can abbreviate this week in TFs to Twit, which I think is highly appropriate. And there's a title sequence which I probably won't use again. So, I've had about a week's break because I just got home and was busy doing things over Easter and whatnot. So, I'm going to call this not whatever week it is this week. I don't know, what day is it? 37. So this is just going to be an Easter update, even though I didn't actually get any Transformers for Easter. And I can remember last year I got Lugnut on. Oh. So I suppose the first thing to show you is what I did in my unboxing from Dorian with his lovely cassette thing he sent me. I do like it. It's the first... I've never even handled a cassette form before. Seen plenty of them. Always wondered how big are they, and if this is oversized, it's still smaller than a real cassette. So I'm sort of thinking, surely it would have been better to make it oversized so it was the size of a real cassette. That would have more novelty value, I think. And then of course that means that real Ravage is smaller than this. I know I'm young, but at least I know what a tape deck is. I do not recall there ever being a tape deck with tapes that were like half the size of this that went in it. I'm a child of the 90s, what do I know? But he does make into a nice sort of red flat cat. And I've called him Brew Cat because he came with my brew. And yes, this is disappointing. I haven't finished it yet. I've had it sat here on my desk and every so often taken a swig of it over the past week, and I'm sorry. I can't even finish a bottle of brew. No. I'm going to down it now then. The Scottish power is burning my throat. Oh. Okay. On to the second item. I got myself a Prime Viacom because I was getting more and more annoyed about how my box of Legion figures still hasn't got here. So when I went into Tesco's and saw they were on offer, I thought, yeah, I'll get one, and then I'll do the heinous act of army building. I've never been one for that because I just look at it and think, well, it's just being over luxuriant. It's like, I mean, that's not true because I spend my money on his Transformers, but it's like I can scarcely afford to get one of them anyway. Why would you then get multiples of the same thing? It's just wasting money. But I've got to say, when they're this cheap and little and come on, they're meant to be army built. I'm glad that I'm going to have a second one coming. This one is called Frank. I'm thinking about the second one being called either Barry or Fred. I think Frank and Fred sounds quite good. So that's Frank, and this thing can just bugger off. I don't understand this at all. Apparently I've got one that's a variant because it's got more detail on the blade here. But what? It's a gun with a sword on the side. How do you use this? What? And it's all rubbery and it feels horrible and it doesn't really fit in the holes very well. It just falls out and I would love to just put this in a box somewhere, but then I know that I don't know. It's like I know they're reusing these weapons, and if I got another one, I would then not know whether this goes to this or to another figure, and I want to keep them together. But I don't like it. The car mode is very nice, even though it's got feet sticking out the back. This is the best mode. It's got nice sort of purpley bits on the side. It should have some on the front, which I'm a bit sad about. But it's very nice. Batmobile, yeah. And there, I've cut out the transformation, but it's probably short enough to not bother, because it's... I don't like how simple it is. It's just pull the car apart and then you open up a needless flap where his head is, and you know, he didn't need to do all this where you tuck his head away, and it's like they've just done it to make it a bit more complicated because it's so extremely simple. And the robot mode is nice, it's painted nicely. I don't like the kibble here, and I don't like how small it is. I know I'm experienced with Legends figures, but this one feels so much smaller than any of the others I've got, and that's a shame. I don't want them to be getting smaller. And he's so out of scale with like Starscream and Megatron. It's like Starscream's like twice the size. Oh dear, I'm complaining. It's a nice little figure, but he could have been so much better, really. That's what I think. So I suppose on to the main event of the past however long. I had a sudden impulse buy and got myself a Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Dead End for like a tenner, because I saw them on Amazon and I thought, oh, £5 plus like £4 something postage. Oh, I think so. So with that strange sort of impulse, I've landed what is actually a very nice figure. I'm really happy with this. I'm quite surprised because, I mean, the sideways mould is sort of, when I think about how complex and detailed and intricate Transformers have been over the last few years, this is the mould that springs to mind. It's a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes. It does take a little while to transform, but it's very cleverly done, I think. And straight off the bat, this guy's got so much more character than Sideways. This guy's redundant now. I mean, just look. Who looks better here? This guy's all just plain red and black, and then Dead End's got all these details picked out. Oh, this just looks so much better. And I've realised through owning this figure that I don't have enough slick, sort of dark looking Decepticon cars, and this guy fills that hole perfectly. I love the sort of red stripes he's got, and these really sort of glowing purple windows. His light piping's done really well as well. And the visor on his face sort of has this sort of compound eye texture, vaguely insecty. But I can't really work out what's going on with his face. I thought this bit here, sort of rebreathery sort of plate piece, was his mouth. On closer inspection it looks more like his chin, because under his eyes there is a nose. Under the nose there is a line of what looks like teeth. So I'm assuming that that's just a really big chin and his mouth is all the way in here somewhere. I can't really tell. Anyone give me a hand with that? So all in all, this week, impulse buys are very good. I'm exceedingly happy with this guy. So now I leave you and sit here and wait patiently for my Prime Ratchet to arrive that Brent is sending me. Waiting for my Ratchet. Waiting patiently.